Welcome to Biblical Journey. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our inspiring stories from the Bible. Today, we dive deep into the life of King Asa, a king who began with unwavering faith, only to fall into the very traps he once denounced. His story is not just a tale of victory and defeat, but a powerful lesson on the dangers of drifting away from God. Grab a seat, and let's explore why King Asa was blessed in the beginning, yet defeated in the end. King Asa was born into a turbulent time. His kingdom Judah was in disarray. It was a land filled with idolatry, corruption, and division, a place where true faith was on the brink of extinction. His father, Abijah, had ruled for a short while, and his grandfather, Rehoboam, had divided the kingdom, leaving behind a legacy of chaos. But Asa, despite being young and inexperienced, inherited not only the throne, but also the heritage of powerful kings, David and Solomon. Yet, Judah was far from the glory of its ancestors. Instead of a thriving, faithful kingdom, Asa found a people divided and lost in foreign worship. Altars dedicated to foreign gods stood in the place of the once glorious temple of the Lord. So what did Asa do? He could have followed the path of least resistance, allowing the idols and false worship to persist. But something inside him burned with determination. Asa was not going to be just another king whose reign was defined by convenience. He knew that the kingdom needed to return to the God of Israel, and he was ready to take action. Asa knew that to restore true faith, he had to act decisively. His first order of business: destroy the idols. Every pagan altar was torn down, every sacred pole reduced to ashes. It was a bold move, and not everyone was on board. Resistance was inevitable. Many in Judah, including powerful priests and nobles, were deeply entrenched in foreign worship. But Asa didn't flinch. The most challenging part of his reform came when he turned his attention to his own family. His grandmother, Maacah, had an idol she worshipped, and she had no intention of giving it up. But Asa, with unshaken resolve, had the idol destroyed and removed her from her position. It was a dramatic step, one that no king before him had dared to take. With this action, Asa declared that Judah would worship only the God of Israel and nothing else. The idols were gone, but there was an unexpected outcome: peace. The land, which had been filled with turmoil, now felt a sense of stability. The people, once lost in their idolatry, now began to experience the peace that only the true God could bring. But this peace was hard-earned, and it wouldn't last forever. Peace, however, was fragile. Soon the kingdom of Judah faced a massive threat, an army led by Zerah the Ethiopian, which numbered 1,000,000 soldiers and 300 chariots. This was an overwhelming force, far greater than anything Judah had ever faced. Fear spread like wildfire, but Asa did not succumb to panic. He knew that his strength didn't lie in the number of soldiers or the fortifications around the city. His true strength lay in God. So, he did something that very few kings would do. He knelt in prayer. Asa cried out to God, saying, "Help us, O Lord our God, for we trust in you alone." It was a powerful moment. Asa placed his complete trust in the Lord, surrendering the battle into his hands. The Ethiopian army, so confident in its superiority, began to experience confusion and panic. Something supernatural was at work. Asa's soldiers, with hearts full of courage, advanced and completely defeated the vast Ethiopian army. The victory was miraculous. After the great victory, Asa didn't let his guard down. A prophet named Azariah warned him that while God was with him, as long as he remained faithful, he must continue seeking the Lord with all his heart. Asa, deeply moved by the message, gathered the people and made a covenant with God. Judah would serve the Lord faithfully, and Asa would lead the way. For a time, peace and prosperity reigned. The land flourished, trade boomed, and the people enjoyed the blessings of living in a kingdom devoted to God. But as the years passed, there was a creeping temptation. one that would challenge Asa's faith in ways he hadn't anticipated. A new threat emerged, not from the south, but from the north. Israel, Judah's neighboring kingdom, began to fortify a city called Ramah, which would effectively blockade Judah's trade routes. Asa saw this as an immediate threat, but this time, something was different. Instead of turning to God as he had before, Asa relied on his own resources. He took gold and treasures from the temple and used them to bribe Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, to break his alliance with Israel and attack their cities. At first, the plan seemed to work. Ben-Hadad accepted the treasure, and Israel was forced to retreat. Asa, ever the strategist, took advantage of this and fortified Judah even further with the resources left behind by Israel. It was a brilliant move on the surface, but there was a deeper issue at play. Soon after, a prophet named Hanani confronted Asa, calling him out for trusting in Syria rather than in God. "Was it not the Lord who delivered you from the Ethiopians?" Hanani asked. "Why did you not trust him now?" Instead of humbling himself before the Lord, Asa became enraged. He threw Hanani in prison, refusing to listen to the rebuke. This moment marked a pivotal shift in Asa's life. The king who once sought God in times of trouble now hardened his heart, relying on his own strategies rather than trusting in the Lord. As time went on, Asa's health began to fail. He contracted a disease in his feet. But instead of turning to God for healing, he relied on doctors and human wisdom, ignoring the God who had once given him strength. The disease persisted, and Asa died without ever seeking the Lord's help again. King Asa's story teaches us a profound lesson about the dangers of drifting away from God. He started his reign with unwavering faith and achieved miraculous victories. But over time, he relied more on his own resources, his own wisdom, and his own alliances. He forgot the very God who had delivered him. And in the end, his story serves as a warning to all of us that even the most faithful can lose their way if they stop depending on the Lord. If you found King Asa's story inspiring, stay tuned for more powerful lessons from the Bible. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. Thank you for being a part of the Biblical Journey family. Until next time, remember, a good beginning doesn't guarantee a good ending. Keep seeking God, for He is the only one who can guide us through every storm. As we reflect on King Asa's journey, it's crucial to understand the deeper implications of his story. Asa's beginning was marked by radical faith, a faith that led him to tear down idols, purify his kingdom, and trust in God in times of war. His courage and reliance on God brought peace to Judah and set the stage for prosperity. However, it wasn't his beginning that defined his ultimate fate. It was the way he chose to respond when things became easier. The danger of success is that it can make us complacent. It can make us think that we can handle things on our own, that we no longer need to rely on God. This is where Asa's downfall began. When the pressure of war subsided, he turned to human solutions instead of spiritual ones. It wasn't that Asa didn't have the ability to make strategic decisions. It's that he forgot the foundation that had given him strength in the first place, his unwavering trust in the Lord. Asa's failure highlights the importance of continuing our relationship with God, not just when we're in desperate need, but consistently through every season of life. Success can sometimes be the most dangerous place for our faith. When things are going well, we may feel like we don't need God's help anymore. But it's precisely in those moments of prosperity that our faith needs to be at its strongest. Another significant aspect of Asa's story is the hardening of his heart. The moment when Asa rejected the prophet Hanani's rebuke marks a turning point. His anger and pride prevented him from accepting the correction he so desperately needed. This is a stark reminder of the dangers of self-reliance. When we become too proud to listen to others or to the Lord's correction, we stop growing spiritually. And just like Asa, we might find ourselves drifting away from the very source of our strength. Throughout Asa's reign, his heart was initially soft and open to God's guidance, but over time, it grew hardened. The same king who had once cried out to God in humility before battle now turned away from him in his time of need. It's a powerful reminder that we must guard our hearts. Pride, self-reliance, and bitterness can slowly take root and steer us away from the path that God has set for us. King Asa's story is not just one of failure, but also of a profound call to us as believers. It serves as a warning that we must remain vigilant in our faith. We cannot afford to let the successes of life or the comforts of peace lead us into complacency. We must continue to seek God in both the difficult times and the easy ones. This is why it's so important to cultivate a deep and ongoing relationship with God, one that doesn't rely solely on circumstances or crises to spark our faith. We should seek God every day, in every season, not just when we face challenges. Our faith must be consistently nurtured, or it will fade, just as Asa's did. Ultimately, Asa's downfall was a direct result of a divided heart. Though his outward actions were focused on reforming Judah, his inner life began to reflect his divided loyalties. At first, he trusted completely in the Lord, but as time went on, he began to trust in his own understanding and strategies. This is the essence of idolatry, placing anything above God, even our own abilities, resources, or alliances. Asa's tragic end teaches us that even when we've seen God move in powerful ways, we must be intentional about keeping our hearts fully devoted to Him. Just as Judah was once divided between worshiping the true God and foreign idols, we too face the temptation to allow other things to take the place of God in our lives. Asa's life serves as a stark warning that no matter how strong our faith may seem at the beginning, it is not guaranteed to last unless we continue to seek God daily. The enemy will not stop trying to lure us away from our devotion to God. He will use pride, success, complacency, and self-reliance to make us think we no longer need God. But the truth is, we will always need Him. Without Him, we are nothing. Without Him, we will fall. This is not just an ancient story about a king long gone. It's a living, breathing lesson for us today. Will we remain faithful to the Lord even in times of peace and prosperity? Will we trust Him fully, not just in moments of crisis, but every day of our lives? Asa's life reminds us that the battle for our faith is ongoing, and the most important thing we can do is remain humble, repentant, and fully reliant on God. To wrap up, Asa's life teaches us powerful lessons about faith, humility, and the importance of trusting in God. He began with a heart full of devotion and led his people to peace and prosperity. But as time went on, he relied more on his own strength and less on God. The result was a tragic downfall that serves as a warning for us all. What will your story be? Will you stay faithful to God no matter the circumstances? Will you continue to trust in Him even when life is good? Asa's story challenges us to examine our own hearts and our own faithfulness to God. Let us learn from his mistakes and commit ourselves to staying true to our Creator every day, in every season. Thank you for joining us on this powerful journey through King Asa's life. If you're ready to dive deeper into more biblical lessons and stories, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so you can continue to grow in faith with us. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for notifications on all our new content. We look forward to exploring more powerful stories and lessons with you. Before you go, if you've been inspired by King Asa's story, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. How can you apply the lessons of Asa's life to your own journey of faith? Let's talk about it. And remember, no matter what happens in life, stay grounded in your faith and trust God, because He alone is our strength.